Alright guys, welcome back. Hope you guys have a happy Easter, or a happy Easter to you guys. Blessings to everybody's friends and families. Hope you enjoyed yourself. So what we got today is we have a 60-inch Sony, the one and only, alright? And the model number of this TV is a KD-60 for 60-inch. X as an X-ray, 690E as an echo. And the problem that we're having with this TV is that I'll go ahead and plug it in, plug in the power. Okay. And I'm going to hit the power, and the standby light at the very bottom, right below the Sony logo, the Sony word. It's like a little bar, and to the left of that bar, it's where your standby indicated light is, right? So I'm gonna go ahead, take my remote control, right? And I'm gonna hit power. And as you can see, we have a green light. Alright. And as you watch, wait a few seconds. It's going to blink. I think that's when the TV should light up when it blinks. Wait for it, wait for it. As you can see, nothing on the screen. And there we go. It turns, no picture, and the light turns to red, and it blinks 6 times and pauses. So they call a 6 blink code error. So we'll just count them. Alright. So pauses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause. That is a 6 blink error code, okay?
Chi-Town's finest.
Okay. Alright, just gonna bear. I got the TV on its face, on something soft and even, with nothing up under it. I got people all the time telling me to lay the TV down on the remote control, on the screw, that's all, and it crack the screen. Yes, if you lay on a piece of dirt that's too big, you will crack the screen, all right? I just want to clarify that, okay? So you can see the model, verify the model number. This is a KD-60X690E, and as you can see right here on the bottom, the TV was manufactured in 2018. So not even 4 years old yet, okay? Okay, want to proceed to take the back cover off. So quite naturally, we have to release the stand, which is 4 screws. There's 2 screws on this side, and there are 2 screws on the other side. And then quite naturally, you got screws going all the way around. There's a screw here. There's a screw in on the jack panel, the main board where the jacks are at. Screw here. Screws at the bottom right here. And don't forget the screws up underneath, right behind where the standby light is. There are 2 screws right here, here, and here. And I am using a number 2 Phillips. Yeah, be careful. One time I actually broke that taking this apart. The little glass piece on the front, or plastic piece. And a lot of these screws are different sizes, so I think, let me see, let's make sure. Yeah, just kind of keep them separated. And we also have some screws right here for our wall mounts, if we are going to use the wall mounts. 1, 2, 3, 4. These obviously, of course, are different size, much bigger. Take that screw, which is also the same kind where the power cord goes in at. So we'll just take that off. Leave all these together. Like screw from the bottom and pull up on it. Okay, now be very careful because I think this is actually snapped in. Okay. See, here's a little snap. And being very careful because our actual speakers are on the back cover and the wire is up underneath. You see that for our speakers? So do not just yank the back cover off. Okay, and we need to pull it apart and it goes on one way, I believe. Yep, okay. And then we'll bring our power cord through the back cover, and that is it. And voila, comes right out. All right, as you can see, we have our T-Con board, okay, power supply, main board, all right. Main board is always the one with the jacks on it and the connections. That's always the main board. And here we have our Wi-Fi module. It's located way over here. Okay, that's for our Wi-Fi. And I believe there's also a circuit board right there. And that is for our standby light. And it also has the infrared IR detector for the remote control on it. Okay, so people always ask me, all right, Mr. TV man, from your experience, what's the best TV? You go to a store, okay, like Walmart, Best Buy, whatever electronics store is in your neighborhood that sells TVs, and they got them all on display, playing the same movie or the same advertisement or whatever, and get the one with the best picture for your money. Okay, that's the best TV. The best TV all around for me working on TVs is Sony, all right? Sony have always been known for their circuitry and their picture. They seem to have like a deeper colors on their picture, like the reds and the blues, right? On all, even like the older projection TVs, when you know the one with the wheels on it, they made a silver one. It was I can't think a WP65, something like that. They always had the conversions problem, right? But the TV on that TV had an excellent picture for a rear projection set. All right, and they have always had the best picture. If I was going to buy a new TV, if I had enough money to get me a 85-inch or whatever, I would definitely get a Sony. The Sony and Mitsubishi were like top of the line with the best picture. But I always said Sony was #1, and to me, you ask me, that's my answer. The best TV to me is a Sony, all right? This is an economy set, and I can tell by looking at the boards, and I can also tell by looking at this backlight plug. As you can see, this is the line that's going to the backlights. A 60-inch TV with only one line, all right, is actually considered a piece of, a cheaper or economy brand TV, okay? Which is cool, because I know the TV does still have a nice picture on it, all right, because of the circuitry that they use on the main board, and this nice big wide T-Con board that they're using. So they've always kept their standard, having a vivid, beautiful, colorful picture. So case history on this TV is that the 6 blinks indicates a backlight problem. Now, there's a guy on YouTube. He's not a technician. He was just asking for help. He made a YouTube video on the same TV, and he actually bought himself a backlight tester to actually verify that that was a problem with the TV as he was looking at on the internet. And so he went and bought a backlight checker just to make sure there was a backlight. And what he did, he showed everybody, he plugged the TV in, turned it on, wouldn't come on, okay? I mean, he powered it up, but it wouldn't come on. It just went to the green to the 6 red blinks, okay? And so he actually had this plug back in. He didn't take this plug loose at all, right? He actually put in his LED checker and checked it, and guess what? You can see through the back cover that all of the LEDs lit up, right? And it was reading like 130 volts on there. And he was saying, so after that, he said, well, it's not the LEDs because all LEDs lit up. So it must be the power supply. So when he plugged the TV set, turned the power on, the TV then started working. Okay? So you see what's going on here? He took his LED checker, not his meter, okay, not his meter, the DMM, okay, that's a meter, digital multimeter, okay, this is an LED checker, all right, LED tester right here, okay, all right, and so he hooked it up to, like I said, the LEDs, and checked them, they all lit up. Then when he plugged it back into the power supply board and turned the TV on, the TV came on, and he says he has to do that by once every 3 or 4 days, because what's going to happen is it goes back to the 6 blinks, and he was just knew that the LEDs were okay. It was a power supply board. But what the LED tester actually is, it is a power supply. Okay, all right. I even had a guy in my comment section when I was testing some LEDs. I forgot which video it was with my LED checker. If you guys watch my videos and know anything about what's going on, you know what happens, right? I check it, and it sends voltage through the entire. It's not on now, but I'm just giving you an example of how you check it. You check the line, the return line, the B plus line, and it's gonna push some voltage up there until it stops or there's a problem. And he actually said, "You big dummy." He didn't say it like that, but that's how he was. What he wanted to say. He said, "You were checking voltage at the wire for the LEDs. Next time, try checking voltage at the input on the power supply board." Yes, that is a common problem. So basically, yes, that sounds like it's bad LEDs. What happens is when you put the LED checker on there, the TV, the leaky LED actually kind of like rejuvenating it or whatever. And because this TV has only one line, and it's probably got, I would say, at least 8 strips in here. It's got to be one line for all the strips. It has a very sensitive feedback return line shutdown circuit, okay? Whatever you want to call it, right? Because it doesn't want, these LEDs will catch fire, and if you're pushing that amount of voltage through here to light up all the LEDs, they don't want any problems, so it's very sensitive. So one LED is leaky or whatever is going to shut down. I also have another TV, same one, over there against the wall there. Same problem. Same TV, same problem. TV was not working, 6 blinks. So I ordered the LEDs for it. That's how I always do. I like to bring a bunch of TVs in, at the same time. So I ordered the LEDs for it. When they came in, I put the TV set up. Once I got it here, the TV came on. Now this guy right here, okay, I went to his house the first time. It's doing the 6 blink thing like it's doing now. And I don't know what I did. I unplugged it. I moved it around. I was holding some buttons on the side, the power button and whatever, just to see. And the TV came on, and the TV lasted over 3 weeks. And he called me back. All right, and now it's here. Okay, so let's just verify it. You saw that the problem was that we didn't have the picture. We just had the 6 blink error code. Okay, which if you look it up online, it does indicate that it is bad LED. So let me just go ahead and plug this in and see. It does actually say on the plug which one is positive and which one is the return line. Okay, so it says the gray wire is positive, okay? Has LED plus, and the other line, no connection in the middle, and the other line says LED minus. As you can see, we have backlights through the chassis, right? So you got backlights there, you can see them here, and it's at 145. They lit up. Now, and it is steady, right? It's not jumping around or anything. So now I'm going to plug it back in. Let me go ahead and plug it in, okay? There's also a keypad on here with just a power button and a plus and minus button on the other side there, in case some people didn't know that. There are buttons actually on the TV. All right, so four, five, six. Okay. All right, so it didn't come on. Well, let's just double check and see if we can get any voltage coming up or not. I got my meter on DC volts. I'm going to stick one side and the positive line, positive, and one side, my other lead into the negative. If I get it to stay in there, okay. And let's just see if we have any voltage coming up, period. Okay, so I got my meter on min-max. I'm gonna plug it in, right? So far, our maximum was 6 volts. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. One hits power. Light is green. Okay. Let's see how fast it is. 6 volts. 6 volts. It keeps going to 6 volts. That's it. Okay, let's try something else. Instead of putting my black lead inside of the pin, I'm going to try to ground it. And in fact, since it's cold ground, I'm actually going to find out, it'll be easier that way, what is going right to that positive pin. There's a dial right here. I know you can't see that. Okay, and there's a coil there to filter it. I'm going to go right to that diode. Put my meter back. Don't forget to put my meter back on DC volts. I'm going to unplug this. Okay. And unplug my LEDs from the power supply board. And I'm just going to use regular ground. I know both of my leads are black, but you get the picture, right? So I got my positive lead. First, we put it on voltage. Okay. DC volts. Okay. So I got my positive lead going to the B plus that is feeding the positive line for the LEDs, and I got my negative lead going to chassis ground. Okay. I'm going to put it once again on min max. I'm going to plug it in. There we go. Now that says 120 volts. Okay. Hit the power. Green light. 128 volts. 190 volts. Okay. Almost had me fooled there for a minute. Okay. Well, let's try it this way. Okay. When I unplug the power, I'm going to plug my LED plug back into the power supply. And I'm actually going to go right once again. I'm going to leave this grounded, my black wire grounded to the chassis, and I am going to go to the back to the positive lead, okay? A positive pin on the plug, the LED plus pin, and instead of going to the LED minus pin with my negative side, negative lead, I'm going to keep it on chassis ground. It's now, let me see, I'm going to plug it back in. So basically what I'm doing, that means if I'm getting voltage up there, the LEDs should be coming on. Plug it back in. There it goes. And hit my light, hit my power. Light is green. It's going up. Up. There it goes. 190 volts. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my feedback pin. Okay. Using my positive lead. Okay. Now I'm going to go to where it says LED minus now. All right. Let me just clear this. I do want to see what the feedback is, okay? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to check, I decided to just use 2 meters. I'm going to check the, we already know that the plus voltage, or the B plus that's going to LEDs is going all the way up to almost 200 volts, 198 volts. And I just want to see what the feedback circuit is. I'm sorry, the feedback voltage is, or the return line voltage, right? Because we got 200 volts, we have to get a certain drop across each LED, and the return voltage is what's going to come out through this LED minus wire and go into the feedback circuit for the LEDs on the power supply board. Okay, so if it says 0, then if the feedback voltage says 0 on this meter, then we know that we definitely have a problem with the LEDs, because there's obviously, once the current rush goes through there, there's something that's blocking the voltage, and it's maybe a shorted, LED that's on the verge of being open, right? Okay, so I'm going to hit max. All right, I'm going to max this out. Okay, meter DC volts. I'm going to max this out, put this on max. Okay, DC volts. I'm using DC volts. All right, and I've got them both grounded to chassis ground, both my meters. All right, so like I said, this is on the return line, and this is on the B plus, or the LED plus line or pin, and this is LED minus pin. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and plug her in. Okay. That's already at 6 volts. All right, TV is not on yet. The light is still off, the LED light. And I'm gonna hit power so it turns to green. Okay, it's green. And that one maxed out at 195 volts. And this one maxed out at 63 volts on the return line. So that sounds about right, because remember, so we're getting 200 volts going there, like I said, and then we got a voltage drop across each LED, and we're coming back with 63 volts on the end. That sounds about right, right? Because 60 plus 145, which we were getting with the LED checker, 145 volts, adds up to around 200. So that seems to be okay, right? Let me just show you. All right. This one is maxed out here. We'll see where it says maximum. We had 197 volts going up. Okay. That was the maximum voltage before it started fluctuating back off and down. See, it says maximum at the bottom, 197. And this max is at 63.8 volts on the return line. 148 volts, and all of the backlights are actually lit through the TV. Okay, I do have backlights coming up through the back of the TV, right? Hopefully you can see that. Like right here, right there, okay? And I'll take it off. You see the backlights go out, see? All right, so I got 145 volts. And there are actually 50 LEDs. There are 10 strips with 5 LEDs on each one, okay? So it's like 10 half strips, all right? So it's like 5 rows of LED strips in the TV. All right, so if those are 3 volt strips, 3 times 50 is 150, okay? And that's approximately what we get with our checker. So, and we have 200 volts going in and 60 volts at the end of it. That's the maximum. So that's about 200, okay? Now, maybe the LED that's shorted, I don't know, but everything seems to be so good so far. We know we don't have a short here on our plug because otherwise we wouldn't be getting any voltage coming up. So we're going to move along and double check our LED backlight on signal and make sure that is not fluctuating. I mean, even if it was, we should still, the screen should at least light up, right? Or flash, right? Backlight on signal or voltage, right? And there is a legend. Okay, that plug on the bottom with the red and black wires is going to the T-con board. Okay, so we're not gonna worry about that. But we do want to make sure. Okay, so that's a legend right here for the T-con board for this plug going to the T-con. Okay, but we are concerned about this legend right here, or this plug right here. Okay, because we don't have any T-con board problems. We just not getting TV light up at all, right? So don't worry about that. So this right here where it says backlight on, that is pin 17. So that denotes that is the top pin. Okay, I did check the ground, so that's 17. It tells you right here next to the plug, pins 1 and 2. Okay, so pin 1 is obviously, because we have 2 rows of wires, one here, one on the bottom that you can't see. Okay, so obviously pin 1 is 5 volt standby. We know we're getting that because, you know, the light's working and all that other kind of stuff. Power supply on, okay. 12 volts, I'm gonna check my 12 volts, okay. Okay, so if I get that, that means the power supply is coming on. Well, we know the power supply is coming on because the backlight's voltage is coming up, so something's good there. But the backlight on voltage, okay, so we know we're getting that, but I want to make sure that is not fluctuating and making the, you know, LED circuit or voltage fluctuate or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was, like I said, the TV should still light up or flash before it goes out. So, you know, I just want to double check that. I want to plug it in. Okay, I've got my meter, DC volts, and it is in the BL on or backlight on pin. Okay. I don't have a light yet. I have one to hit it. Light turns green. Okay. 3.2 volts. Light is still green. 3.2 volts is not fluctuating. Okay, it turned off because the light is now flashing red. Also want to check, if I zoom in on this plug again, the backlight error voltage, okay, and that is, looks like backlight error would be, that's pin 18, 16, 14, okay. Third pin from here is actually, I did check that, is actually the red wire, okay. I did split that right here. I'm gonna do it right here, okay. And make sure it's not touching the metal, ground. And I'm gonna put it to my positive lead, okay, for my meter. Meter's on DC volts once again. Let's try it again. I'll push it in. Okay. There's no light. Okay. I'm on the backlight error, or BL error, backlight. Okay, I'm gonna hit the power. My semi light turns green. I got 3.3 volts. Went down, came back up. The light is still green. Okay. Went down, came back up. So that is actually fluctuating. All right, now that should not fluctuate, I don't think. My light is still green, but down again, my light is still green. You see how it fluctuated? Okay. Now the light is red, so blinking red, so now it's shutting down. So let's try this, okay? All right, and don't worry, I already tried to ground the backlight area. That did not work, okay? So I'm gonna go to this backlight area wire. I got it cut, okay? So this part is going to the main board and this part is going to the power supply. Okay, let's see what we got on the power supply. All right, so that's an output voltage or what? Don't know. Want to plug it in, okay? Hit my power. Light is green. And I did go up to 0.1 volts. My light is still green. Okay, went to 0.1 volts again. Light is still green. Okay, now the light is red. Okay. So let's just go to the other side of the wire. Okay. So we had like a little fluctuation on that backlight area. I'm gonna go to the main board. Okay. On that side, this wire, this part of the wire, okay, it's only going to the main board. Everything else is plugged in at the connector, except for that one backlight arrow wire. And I'm gonna plug it in with the 3.3 volts. TV is not on yet. Let me hit the power. Green light, 3.3 volts. And that, my friend, is steady at 3.3 volts. The light is still green. Okay. When it goes red, there, oh, nope. Okay. Didn't fluctuate. Light is blinking green. So my feeling is the TV is actually trying to start. Now the light is red. Okay, now it's shutting down. All right, so two things for certain, one thing for sure. Either we have something's going on with the backlights, or we have a bad feedback circuit on the power supply. All right, that's the feedback circuit for the LEDs. That is where the LED minus or the return line is going to, somewhere here in this section, probably under the board. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna, my TV is unplugged, I'm actually going to pull the board out and look at it really good up underneath. Okay. Make sure there's nothing burnt, no open resistors on the feedback circuit, nothing like that. Even like I said, even if it was, it seems like the TV would flash, the screen would flash, the backlights would flash. I'm gonna flip it over, being careful not to. So let's look our LED circuits on this side right here. Okay, that's our IC, controller IC for our feedback. And since we only got one line, we got one transistor there, okay? Don't see anything, nothing burnt. Okay, like I was telling you, I had another TV, same TV. This TV had the same problem with the 6 blinks. When I got it here, it started working. And so, I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, just to make sure, because I'm going to eventually want to do is take the power supply board out of that one and put it in that one just to verify that it's not the power supply board. See it flash Sony. Perfectly good picture. Like I said, same TV, same problem with the 6 blinks. We're going to prove that it is not the power supply board. We are going to take the one out of this one, which you know is still working, right? And put it in that one. Oh, before I take the board, I just want to do a comparison right fast of the voltages, like the backlight error and also the voltage going to the LED. So let's, and the feedback return voltage. All right, so let's see. Okay, we are good. So let's compare voltages, okay? So, DC volts, and let's actually check our B plus LED plus voltage, right? Last one we get 198 volts peak. Let's see what we got here. 162, okay. 162, steady. And let's look at our return voltage. All right. Now that is at 0.77. Oh, 0.7 volts, okay. I just want to check those LEDs. Right? Positive red lead on the LED plus wire, the gray wire, and the white wire. Okay, 140, and actually I had it turned up just a little bit more than that. My current error, backlight error detect, that's going to tell us something. I'm going to go to the red wire on the main board because I know for a fact that it's the red wire. There's only one red wire on that plug, and that is a backlight error. This red wire right here on it is going right here. Okay, that's the wire that we had cut and checked both sides. Remember on the old TV, the other TV, it was at 3.3 volts, and then I guess when the backlights were trying to come up or whatever, it was jumping down to like 1 volt or something like that. I forget, but it was fluctuating. We put my LEDs back in. I'm going to plug it in. I'm grounded. Okay. It's at 3 volts. Green light, backlights are on. And then it goes down to 0.01. Okay? 0 volts. Alright? Okay. TV is still coming on. As you can see, I got backlights. Okay, so I'm not going to cut it and all that. I'm just going to go ahead and change the power supply board. I'm going to take this good working power supply board and put it in. Oh, one more thing I wanted to check is, let me check this right here. We're getting 200 volts coming up. I'm just going to plug the LEDs actually, and I'm going to see how many volts we get now. So this was playing our B plus. Now on this board, or this TV period, we had 162, 162 volts going to the LEDs. And I'm just gonna unplug the plug going to the LEDs. I'm gonna plug that, I wanna recheck that voltage when I fire it up. I just wanna see if it's gonna come up to 200 or 198 volts without the LEDs plugged in, okay? That will really let me, now if it comes up something different, then we probably got a bad power supply board in the other one. Hit min max. Okay, let's do that again. DC volts. Min max. Okay. Let's plug it, try it again. Alright. Plug it up. Green light. There we go. 198 volts. Okay. So that means our other board is most likely working. Right? Just going to show you. Put my meters in continuity. Okay. There it goes. There it goes to this coil. And then it goes right to the plug. Okay. So that is our B+. You can see that. Got backlights right there, okay? Board's still working. Still good. TV still working. Wow, insane, right? Insane. Now, I just want to see if that 0.7 volts is going to be fluctuating or changing. That's another way that you can monitor if you have a backlight problem or not, if it starts fluctuating. But obviously, you're going to have to leave the meter on there for a long time. So for right now, it looks good. We're not gonna worry about that right now. We're just gonna go ahead and change that board. When you guys are replacing boards and TVs, you see that screw? You see that metal that screws into? Anytime you see that, first of all, just do this. Make sure that you put all the screws back in any board you replace. All right, I'll just put one in there to test it out, see if it's gonna work. Because this screw is a grounding screw. It is grounding this board to the metal chassis. So go ahead and plug this baby in and plug it in. And let me see. Okay, no light. When hit power, light turns green. Nope, no backlights yet. Light is still green. Still green. Six red flashes. All right, guys. So that proves our theory that we know the main board is good, no power supply is good. Can't do the T-con board. We could double check, make sure, right? We can take our T-con board loose. I'm gonna unplug it right from the main board. Okay. So even if our panel is causing it to shut down, we've got everything from this connector, everything from the T-con board, all the way down to the panel disconnected right here. We also have this other plug going from our power supply. I think this is our power supply for the TCON board coming from the 12 volts. So let's try it again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Actually, I can plug my Wi-Fi module. You can also do that, right? Okay. Try it again. Green light. No backlights. All right, just want to make sure that Wi-Fi module or a TCON board or panel wasn't sending the TV into the 6 blink error code. All right, so I do have the strips for it. So that should prove it to you that it is the strips. That's the only thing it can be, is the LED strips, especially since we're getting that change of voltage. For the 160 at 190, it seemed like it was just stopping there for some reason. It wasn't getting up in there for some reason.